Ramble. The person mentioned like favorite albums, I believe, and memories, related to like music and stuff. Favorite bands or whatever. So I figured I'd just throw a bunch of music stuff into one video. I did that video a while back. It might have been actually right before I moved here, where I showed. I still had. I have them somewhere. I think they're in the basement in a bin. A lot of the concert ticket stubs from concerts I've been to. I've been to about 25 to 30 concerts, something like that. But yeah, I figured talk about that stuff. I'll start with just kind of the basic, like, music I listen to. I listen to a lot of stuff. I listen to a lot of, like, video game soundtracks for a while now. Like the first four Silent Hill game soundtracks I love. Akira Yamaoka. I think that's how you say his last time. He's great. Those soundtracks are haunting. Just good. They're just phenomenal shit. And someone sings on them too. I forget her name. I think it's I don't know if it's Mary or Elizabeth something. I don't know. She's good as well. That's a lot of good shit. I listen to metal, alternative or rock and roll. I'll pretty much listen to anything. I listen to some rap stuff, some country stuff. Select songs for country, but like I said, a lot of orchestral stuff too. I'll listen to as well. Movies, songs from movies and stuff, like soundtracks and shit like that. Some of my favorite bands. I'd say probably my top five. I'll say my top five favorite bands in really no particular order, but Faith No More probably be number one. I've always loved Faith No More from back in the day, and even they have the two albums, or it's definitely one, but they had two albums. We Care a Lot, and then Introduce Yourself Without Patton. That was the guy's name, Chuck Mosley, or no, something like that. I want to say that he died, but I could be wrong. Like somewhat recently, but like Introduce Yourself is awesome. Like We Care a Lot's a little more, I guess, like raw and stuff. I don't know if they consider that I think they do consider that like a full album though. That's the one I've heard the least of, but I know As the Worm Turns is on there, I think. We Care a Lot's on there, and then it's on Introduce Yourself as well. But Introduce Yourself even without Pat is fucking an amazing album. It's kind of like The Real Thing musically, not completely, but they're probably the two albums that are actually the most similar out of all of their stuff. Because Faith No More, like all their albums, you can almost say is a different band. But Introduce Yourself even without him is really good. Like the musicians in that band are great. Let me see if I can remember their names. Well, Jim Martin was on guitar then. He was on guitar through Angel Dust, then King for a Day. I think, what was it, Trace Bruins? I think that was Patton's buddy from Mr. Bungle. And then, the guy who's on Album of the Year, and then they brought him back for Soul Invictus. I think they actually asked Jim Martin, but I don't think he was interested. Well, they were going to, and they didn't. I forget his name. Something Hudson. I can't remember his name. He's good, though. I want to say Anthony Hudson, but I don't think that. It's something, I'm pretty sure it's something Hudson for that album. After their long hiatus, I didn't think they'd ever get back together, honestly. I saw them once after they got back together. I forget the name of the place in Brooklyn. That was a really good show, actually. But yeah, I was just saying, The Real Thing's awesome. And then The Real Thing is awesome, but Introduce Yourself's fucking awesome. The Real Thing's good, but over the years, I still like it, but I prefer King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime. Angel Dust is my favorite. Angel Dust might be my favorite album out of any album. Albums, just especially coming from the Real Thing, where like Patton was a little bit like, people have said this like and stuff in the past, but like almost like a poster boy for MTV briefly, and then like they didn't even let the producers like know what they were doing for so long, and then they're like, oh shit, because they wanted like a similar sound to the Real Thing, and fucking Epic, which Epic's a fine song, but it's so over fucking played. It's one of their weaker tunes, honestly. Even on that album, my favorite song off that album is probably "The Morning After." That's a sick tune. They played Epic, and they played the Real Thing off of that. The Grab song on and Chinese Arithmetic's really good too. On Introduce, so there's a random fire chord. And song's really good on Introduce Yourself. There's a lot of good stuff on that album. Faster Disco actually might be my favorite song on that album. That's a really good song. And the Real Thing's got a ton of good stuff. Angel Dust, though, is where it's at. Everything's Ruins, like, might be my favorite song ever. But that's just top to bottom, just phenomenal. I mean, the songs on it, it's like off the wall. The lyrics are fucking weird and great. I think King for a Day is awesome too. That's like their metal album, if you want to call it that. It's the heaviest of their albums. That's got the gentle art of making enemies on it, which is awesome. But alright, this is probably, I'm already eating up too much time just on that. But yes, Faith No More is a top band for me. Helmet is another band I fucking love. Even after John Stanier and Henry Bognan left, after they broke up the first time, and now it's just Page Hamilton, and he had the guy from, is it Charlie Benanante? Is he the bassist from Anthrax? The bassist from Anthrax, though, and he had a couple other known people in there for Size Matters, which is the best, in my opinion, of the albums that he's done without those other two guys. From out the first one, the four, And they've had, like, Dead to the World, I think is another one, Monochrome. And there's one other one. What the hell is it called? Size Matters, Monochrome. Dead to the World was the third one. There's the fourth one, I think. I can't remember the name of the third album. I lost a little bit of interest. I saw them live twice. Just the newer band. Page Hamilton's the fucking songwriter for that band anyway, but John Stanier and Henry Bognan were so fucking good. Like, they're such one of the best rhythm sections, bass and drums. He's in a band, John Stanier's in a band now called Battles. That's really good. He's also in Tomahawk with Mike Patton, which is another fucking great band. But the first four, and the guys Page Hamilton has in the band now are fucking great. Like, the guys I saw him play with live, they're fucking really good. I'm not like Size Matters, I really liked, and I like songs off the other albums, but I don't like those albums full. Like I said, I can't even remember I'm pretty sure he's had 4 albums, and I named 3, but I can't remember that fucking third one. But I think maybe he only has had 3. But no, there is a third. I think the third had LA Water on it. That was the Gate. Strap It On, Meantime, Betty, and Aftertaste are fucking all awesome. Betty's another one of my favorite albums. That's in my top 5 albums of all time. Meantime's amazing too, so Strap It On. Aftertaste is still very good, but it's the weakest of those 4. That's like, Helmet's like almost groove metal. It's just, he writes some just amazing riffs. Page Hamilton, and he's got his lyrics, in my opinion, when he came back with him and other guys, definitely lost a lot, but his lyrics on those first 4 albums are fucking just so good. They're so just like random and weird, and they're really good. Like, I like lyrics that are kind of strange and open to your own interpretation, or don't even make sense in general. That's how I've always been about shit. That's why I love Patton's lyrics, his lyrics, Page Hamilton's lyrics. Betty is just amazing. It's like a little bit of their experimental album, people will call it. Once again, though, the riffs are fucking there. Just some of his riffs. You go listen to it. Strap It On too has a lot of good riffs. Like Make Room, Repetition, FBLA, the first one. The second FBLA is on In the Meantime. And The Meantime has a ton of great riffs. Up and Down Role Model on Meantime is another one of my favorite songs ever. I love that song. And then Betty has Speechless, I Know, Milk Toast, Wilma's Rainbow, Overrated, just top to bottom, just the riffs are amazing. But Helmet's another favorite band. Helmet Faith No More. Ministry is another one. Although admittedly, their last two albums I haven't heard much of. And Jurgensen has, after, I can't say an animosity, I forget what it is. It's like animosity and then it's weird. I really like that album, but that was the last album. With him and Paul Barker was like his kind of partner in crime for a long time. And then they went like thrash metal. They were industrial, although Ministry's first album with Sympathy is like a dance album. And he even said, Al Jurgensen in an interview, was like, I did whatever the producers told me to. I wanted money. And then Twitch was starting to get, it was almost in between like that first album and then what he would become. And Land of Raping Honey's another one of my favorite albums. That's my favorite Ministry album. But they had that, Mind is Terrible Thing to Taste, Psalm 69, and then even Filth Pig is really good. Filth Pig's like their slow, sludgy, kind of heavy album. He's another one with a lot of good lyrics as well, and even Dark Side of the Spoon I like, and I like some of the thrash stuff as well. I think he had Tommy Victor was there for a while from Prong. It's funny, Prong and Helmet had like a rivalry for a while, and then they stopped hating each other because they got older. And they were like, what were we bitching about? Because they have a very similar, not sound, but their style is the same, like that kind of stop and go. I mean, Prong's good too, but he was in there for a while, and they had Houses of the Mole, Rio Grande Blood, which are both awesome. There was a third one. The Last Sucker, that one was awesome too. And then he's made a couple more after. Relapse, I think, is one of them. That might be the last one. But Ministry's awesome. Those are probably my top three bands, and then I can kind of intersect other bands as well. Iron Maiden, like I've talked about when I got that pickup video, I loved Maiden for a long time. I still do love a lot of their stuff, but like I said, I lost interest after Brave New World. It sounded too similar to it. It was just like listening to the same album over and over again. But I love Maiden. I saw them back in 2000 when they got Bruce back and did Brave New World, and that show was amazing. Like, they're tight as fuck live. That was a great concert. And like Alice in Chains, I really like. Never saw him with Lane Staley, and I've not seen him with William Duvall, the new guy, but I saw Jerry Cantrell himself when he did the solo tour, when he did Boggy Depot, his first album, which is a fucking great album. I saw him when he played that. He played like 4 Alice in Chains tunes. I'd like to go see him. They're playing at Jones Beach this summer. I might go with, I think, Breaking Benjamin and Bush. But they're really, like, the albums they had with, I think his name's William Duvall, the new guy. I think they have 3 albums now, are actually really good, too. I'm not completely, like, experienced with those 3 albums, but like my friend plays it a lot at work, and they're really good. Like, it's fucking, like, Cantrell's an amazing songwriter. Soundgarden was amazing, too. They were like that's a perfect name for that band, because their sound is just so, like, it's like a garden of different sounds. Like, they have some fucking amazing stuff. Super Unknown, Bad Motorfinger, Down on the Upside, I forget, they had 2 albums before, I believe it was 2, at least 1 or 2 albums before Bad Motorfinger, and then I think King Animal was the one they had when they got back together in like 2008 or something. Obviously Cornell has passed for a while now, but his voice was amazing. Same thing with Lane Staley. And, if I'm talking about the grunge bands real quick, like, I was never huge on Nirvana, thought they were overrated, but not just because when I was, I think Bleach came out in 88 or 89. It was Bleach 89. I would have been in like 5th or 6th grade, no, 5th grade. Nevermind came out, Nevermind 91. I think that came out the tail end of when I was in 6th, or it was the summer of 6th grade for me, going into 7th. I always liked him, and I like a lot of his stuff. And once again, Kurt Cobain's another great songwriter, you know. I would never deny the fact that he really was a great songwriter. And he has some good lyrics as well. But they really, to me, were like that. They fit that time period perfectly for me, like 7th, 8th, 9th grade. I remember when he died, I was going to a basketball game. My mom was bringing my friend to a Nets game. And it was on the radio that he had died. It was a bit of a shock, but... And they were already starting to get really overrated then. Like, people were just blowing their loads over them back then. Any one of you guys that were around my age, a little bit older, even a little bit younger, or a lot older than me, a lot older than me and you're watching, but could kind of attest to that. They were everywhere. Like, people talk about, like, oh, Patton was a poster boy. Like, Nirvana was the poster band for MTV. And I obviously, what's his name, never liked the fame. Kurt Cobain. But In Utero was really good. Incesticide was like their B-sides album, which I actually really liked. It has like Aero Zeppelin on it and Turn Around and shit like that. And then after he died, it was like, I think Patton has it was in Star AD, I think he has a line of lyrics that's kind of about Kurt Cobain, where it's like, after you're dead, you become something worse than dead. You become a legend, which I think the way Nirvana's treated now, I think would piss off Kurt Cobain if he was alive. But if he was still alive, he wouldn't be. Nirvana is like almost like a fashion statement now, and there's younger people now that love the music, which is huge. You want to love the music of the band. Obviously, Dave Grohl was in them, Foo Fighters, but he wasn't their first drummer. He's like the second, but it's just, it was crazy. Like, they were just, it was, everything was Nirvana. And you had Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, those other kind of main bands coming out of Seattle, and the Melvins were there, but they were before all those bands. I mean, they kind of, one of those bands that started that kind of grunge-ish movement. I mean, a lot of those, Nirvana was true grunge in my opinion, and I would say Soundgarden was close. Pearl Jam was not, in my opinion, and Alice in Chains wasn't either. I would almost consider Alice in Chains a metal band. A gloomy, dark metal band. And Pearl Jam's more like rock. I like Pearl Jam, but I don't like all this stuff. And that Stone Temple Pilots I really liked back then. Smashing Pumpkins. And metal as well. I mean, Metallica back then I loved. Megadeth. I saw Metallica at Meadowlands. I saw Megadeth at the Hammerstein Ballroom on the Cryptic Writings tour. It was the main guys in Megadeth. It was Marty Freeman, Nick Menza, Elvis, and Mustaine. Like, that's the four. Like, those guys made the best of the Megadeth albums. And obviously, Mustaine's writing fucking 70% of your shit, but that was an awesome album, Cryptic Writings, and that was a fucking amazing show. That was a great set list. I think they opened with Wake Up Dead. Reckoning Day, they played Peace Sells, Hangar 18, Holy Wars. I think they played Trust, She-Wolf off of Cryptic Writings. To Lamone, I think was the other song they played off of. Euthanasia, and then what did they play off Countdown? They played In My Darkest Hour off of So Far So Good So What. They played Nothing off Killing Is My Business. What they play off Countdown to Extinction? They played Symphony of Destruction, and I want to say Sweating Bullets. That was a great show. They played Angry Again, which is the song of the freaking lights coming in, which is off the Last Action Hero soundtrack. That was a great show. Anthrax is another band I like, not immensely, but Sound of White Noise is my favorite album by them. What else? I like some Slayer. I'm not a huge Slayer fan. But obviously another band with immense talent. Most of those guys are done. Jeff Hanneman is his name. He died from that complication from that brown spider bite, I think, and they broke up. They had that tour with Primus. And Ministry actually was there. And Phil Ensemble, Pantera. Pantera was another amazing metal band. Fucking Dimebag Darrell getting fucking murdered, assassinated on stage was insane. And his brother had died too, right? Vinnie Paul died not too long ago. But Pantera was great. You know, I like Judas Priest. I like how, you know, I'm not like overly into a lot of the super heavy stuff. Korn's kind of cool. I like some of their shit. Buckethead's awesome. Buckethead's fucking amazing. Primus is another fucking amazing band. Holy shit, Primus is great. Claypool's obviously amazing on bass, but Larry Lalonde and, well, it's back to Tim Alexander again, but it was Brian Mantia, who does a lot of shit with Buckethead. And I forget Jay Lane was their original drummer, one of their original drummers before they got Tim Alexander. And Larry Lalonde, they were like the original Primus, but they're the ones that are on all the albums. Oh, Larry Lalonde's been on all the albums. Jay Lane was on Green Hog Hide. But they're amazing. They're fucking, like, they're heavy. They're fucking goofy. They're weird, you know? Like, they can play all types of shit. Like, Primus is fucking amazing. They just did that show. They actually played Battles Open for some of it, where they did the Rush album, and then they did their own set. I got a lot of concerts. I mean, I went to the Eagles back in 96. That was amazing. My first concert was Van Halen in 95 at Jones Beach, which was a good concert. I'm not a massive Van Halen fan, but that was a great show. 311 I saw at the beach, another fucking band that's really good. Roger Waters from Pink Floyd. I saw that. Pink Floyd's fucking amazing. And Waters played a lot of Floyd. But Floyd had a run of albums that was just ridiculous. Wish You Were Here, Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall, Animals, you know, fucking like everything pretty much. Even the first album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn with Sid Barrett, is great. Ummagumma, Adam Our Mother, Obscured by Clouds. Tom Petty I've seen 1.5 times. I had a bad panic attack at a Petty show because my friend passed out, and I thought it was me passing out in my weird mind. So he had to leave. I ended up in the ER briefly because I thought I was having a heart attack. He wasn't. Obviously, I was just bugging out. Then I saw him again at the beach. He put on a great show. Another guy who's dead now. Petty has so much good stuff. He's just a great band. Just a guy to listen to. He's just great music. Bands like Slipknot and Mudvayne, I like. I like a lot of stuff. I mean, I haven't heard. There's plenty of music I haven't heard, but there goes a car. I've seen, like I said, I saw Metallica as well. I saw him at Metallica, but me and a few of my friends, because back in the day, I don't know when this ended, but you'd have to wait. It went till at least 2000, because I remember buying tickets to Maiden at Tower Records. But you'd have to wait online at Tower Records for like 5 hours before tickets went on sale. And they only played 2 shows, I believe. When it was just the Metallica, all they did was cover their covers. A band opened for them that just covered Metallica, and then Metallica played all the songs off like Garage Inc. and whatever. And Garage Days and Garage Inc. And that was a fucking awesome show, man. Not a lot of people got to go to that, and that was cool. Garage Inc. that was a great show. And even when they played the Metal Ends, I mean, that was on the Reload tour. So I didn't hear a lot of the older stuff, but I really don't mind any of Metallica's stuff. I think Saint Anger is a pretty goddamn good album. The drums can be a little annoying, but I love the riffs on that album. Some of the lyrics are really good. I like their new album. Well, it came out like, 7 years ago or some shit. Hardwired to Self-Destruct. What was the one before that? Death Magnetic. I love the Black Album, and Load and Reload too, man. I remember back when those came out, people were flipping out when the Black Album came out. They're like, this isn't fucking Metallica. It's a great fucking album. It really is. But obviously Justice, Master of Puppets, fucking Ride the Lightning, and Kill 'Em All. Fantastic. I think the Black Album's fantastic. I think Load and Reload are very fucking good. There's some good songs on those albums. A lot of people couldn't accept back then that they were the band, metal band, and then they went softer, and people were like, oh my god, but if fucking like other bands put out Load, you'd be like, holy shit, this is amazing. They just changed their fucking style up, and now they're back to being more heavier stuff, and they did it well, you know. I mean, Cliff Burton was obviously their best bassist before he died, but Newstead was good too, and obviously Rob Trujillo is really good. He was in Suicidal Tendencies before that, another good band. But I remember waiting online for so many fucking shows at Tower Records. Tom Petty, we had to wait in Irving Plaza when we saw him there in the city. Like Aerosmith, I saw in '97. That was an amazing show too. The Eagles as well, like I said, was an amazing show. Page and Plant we saw, so that was all Zepp shit. That was great. Who else have I seen? Steve Miller Band at the Hofstra Gym. That was alright show, but that was kind of ridiculous. I'm trying to think of other favorite albums too, like Iron Maiden's Power Slave. I love. Trying to think of Primus's Brown album. I love that album. I like pretty much all of Primus's stuff, but that album's amazing. Who else do I like? I'm trying to think of other albums. I'm trying to think of like memories. I remember we used to go down to the beach a lot when I was in high school, and we'd be listening to fucking like Alice in Chains, The Doors. I didn't appreciate The Doors as much back then as I do now. Like I never hated them, but Doors are fucking awesome. I'm missing a ton of bands, but all band side projects. A band that I never got heavily into that my friends fucking dream over is Tool. And I think Tool's fine. I really do. They obviously have a world of talent. I never could get overly into them, though. I like some of their songs a lot, but I could never get super into them. CKY is another awesome band. I saw them, but it was without Darren Miller. They were still good, and they have that one album without him, which is pretty decent, but they had such a unique sound, CKY. I really like them. I'm trying to think of some other shows. I'm missing some shows for sure. I don't know. Red Hot Chili Peppers and Stone Temple Pilots are at the beach. Chili Pepper is another fucking amazingly talented band. I don't love them, but they are amazingly talented, obviously. That was a great show. STP was good, but that was like after. I think that was on number 4. So they opened. They played like 12 tunes, and it was a good set. There goes a truck just driving down the road. But we used to listen to so much different stuff. Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Megadeth, all types of shit going down at the beach all the time. Anytime I got at the beach, I just think back to high school because we used to go down all the time. And I remember waiting on all those lines at Tower Records to get tickets, or the Wiz to get tickets. Good times. You'd have to wait there for like 5-6 hours sometimes. But it was, I have a lot of albums I really like. But like I said, the way I listen to music now is I don't almost listen to full albums. I kind of just listen to songs at random. I'll listen to shit off like the Final Fantasy soundtracks and shit, whatever, Yeah, the Van Halen show was my first show. That was a good show. It was solid. 1984 is probably my favorite album by them. It's a lot of people's favorites. I mean, Eddie Van Halen had some just phenomenal riffs, honestly. Some of the best. Hetfield's another guy who writes amazing riffs. Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, another amazing band. Ton of great riffs. What was that band that had? It was a singer from... I think it was a singer from Mudvayne, and it was the drummer from Pantera. Damage Plan? Or was that the Dimebag Darrell band? Oh, I know the one. That's the one song, "Rotten to the Core," is coming. I've heard some people say. Is that what the hell's the name? Oh, Hell Yeah is the name of that band. They were cool. I didn't realize they had like 4 or 5 albums. I'll probably stop this in a minute. I've just been kind of rambling about. I kind of got to the point on some of the stuff. But yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of those bands, especially when I was younger, meant a lot to me. Especially like Faith No More and Iron Maiden, especially when I was a kid. Some Guns N' Roses, but not a lot. I was never a massive Guns N' Roses fan either. I think they're another band, in my opinion, that was a little overrated. Nine Inch Nails is another one. I like Ministry better, but Nine Inch Nails always great. But I remember a lot of that. A lot of those memories from back then. That's what music does. It's like a time capsule, like video games. Just remember back to shit, you get nostalgic. I mean, I still listen to those bands now, most of them. Some I don't. Like Zeppelin, Led Zeppelin, I don't listen too much anymore. I almost can't listen to them. For whatever reason, I don't know. I was never huge on the Beatles, too. I would never discredit their talent, but I was never a huge Beatles fan. But yeah, that's just a kind of ramble here on music. I'm talking about some favorite albums, bands, and stuff, and other things. But yeah, thanks for checking this. That was a request, by the way, as well. I think I said that at the beginning. But thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.